What's up, dude? Sorry to keep you waiting. What's up, man?
Thanks for having me.
Dude, you made it.
This is amazing down here.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, I'm
Good.
good.
To see you. What's happening?
This is Sam, our director and
What's up,
producer.
Sam?
Well,
How
he's
are
actually
you?
our producer, but right now he's getting us before we start to get drunk here.
All right. Let's have a cocktail. Drinks
Come
are
on
starting.
in.
I can't believe this.
What's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Christ. This is Drinks with Johnny, and this is Ted Stryker, my good friend. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing fantastic.
Thanks for making the drive.
Oh, are you kidding? First of all, you have to do these things in person. It's
Yeah.
50,000 times better. And this is a night that I'm going to never forget. So thank you for having me. This is
Thanks for
amazing.
being over here, man.
Your least famous guest ever, Ted Stryker.
No, that's not true. I just had my wife on.
She's famous.
Oh,
And I saw that. And I saw the pictures. I saw everything. It's good.
Thanks, man. Well, since you already divulged you had a bit of a long day, I figured I'd make you a little bit of a drink tonight.
I would love that. A
Okay,
long,
cool.
good day, by the way.
A long, good day.
Great day.
Well, what happened today? Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
At 10 a.m., Chris Carrabba from Dashboard Confessional came over to my house.
Oh, awesome.
We did a podcast,
Right
and
on.
he was
Tuna on
incredibly
Toast?
nice. Yep, Tuna on Toast, a podcast. And then he almost killed my dog accidentally, and then he was off. Because my dog's 16, he looks 8, and he like roughed him up, and the dog, like, oh my God! But it was
What kind of dog is it?
a Japanese chin.
Okay.
He's really small. And then after that, I did a radio show. And then it was good today. I was like in the zone, then got in the car, and now I'm here at your house. It's like, what a
That's
lucky
awesome.
dude I am.
Well,
man.
yeah, dude. Well,
It's amazing.
I'm lucky to have you. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna make a gimlet. Have you ever had a gimlet
A
before?
gimlet. I think throughout my life I've had one, but I couldn't even tell you what's in it.
Okay. So it's predominantly gin.
Okay.
This is actually Violet Fogg. One of our guests that was on the show makes this gin. It's a really good gin. I really
Okay.
like it.
Nice.
And then you're just gonna use it's kind of a lime simple syrup. It's called lime carjol.
Okay.
And it's basically just agave nectar and fresh lime juice, boiled, simmed, comes back down.
All right.
It's kind of set like that.
Cool.
So the reason why I went with a gimlet though
Yes.
is because you. Because we've been friends for so long, I know that this reference would get you a bit. When we were doing the self-titled record with Jimmy,
Yes.
the Rev Sullivan, who I will be asking you about in a little bit here, any of the stories you remember from him,
Okay.
because we go that far back.
I know.
That's
I
kinda
know.
crazy.
It is.
When we were doing the self-titled, some of the writing happened in Big Bear, and we were drinking gimlets.
Oh, is that right?
So I figured, hey,
Oh
got
my
Ted Stryker
God.
coming over to the house. Let's make some gimlets.
Okay, good.
All right, cool. So what we're gonna do, as I said, it's mostly gin. We're gonna do 2 ounces
Okay.
of gin, probably a little bit more because that's what I do.
Yep.
And then you're gonna do about 3/4 of an ounce of this guy.
I kind of felt for a second there like Mark Wahlberg in Boogie Nights when John C. Reilly is making the margaritas like 1, 2, 3, whatever.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. Not gonna lie. All right, you're just gonna add ice in the shaker. It's pretty simple drink,
Okay.
really. I mean, that's pretty much.
That's
fucking
it?
Yeah.
Good form. Oh my God.
Pour it over some ice.
You make it look
sure
so
you
easy.
get
I
over there.
could never do this. I'm terrible at this kind of stuff.
I've learned from basically my wife and just having a bar up here and doing this show.
Yeah.
Honestly, I built the bar, no intentions of doing a show at it or anything. I couldn't make a drink to save my life. And then when I started doing this show, I started making drinks.
Wow. You are
you go.
such a good host. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you know you could always be in front of a camera and lead a conversation like this? Was this always you?
No. It's actually kind of been a challenge for me, to be honest. Like when I started it, it was just like this. I was like, I'm just gonna call up some of my buddies in the industry, and they're gonna come over to the house like we would, and we're gonna make some drinks and
Yeah.
shoot the shit. And it started with guys like Brandon Saller from Betrayal and,
Yeah.
and the guys in the Dirty Heads would come over, and then one thing led to another, and they're like, oh, you've been hanging out with these guys for like 3 hours plus. Like, there's a lot of audio. This is from my director. He's all, you should release that as a podcast. At the time, I didn't know what a podcast was other than the word and Joe Rogan. That's all I knew about podcasting. So then we quickly turned it over to more of a podcast format and made it like a legit thing.
It is.
So you go back to like season 1. Oh my God, that was so bad. It's so bad. But I'm starting to get the hang of this thing. I don't think I'll ever fully have it. I mean, maybe you could talk to me about that. I mean, you've been on this side of the camera and mic for how many years now?
I've been on the radio for 29 years.
Whoa.
You would think I'd be better at it. And then I get, just because of radio, I got MTV and some VH1 and just like a couple, and then, just, it's crazy just how you think you're gonna do one thing and all these little other opportunities miraculously open up for you.
Yeah, man.
I never thought I would even be on the radio, ever, or be a broadcaster or do podcasts or any of that stuff.
I'm surprised to hear that because I believe that you are so good at it and you've been,
Thank you.
as you said, 29 years, just been killing it, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's take a drink to that.
Okay.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers to you. Thank you so much. I'm doing anything.
Oh, that's damn good.
That is so good.
That's damn good.
I'm not just saying that. That is really good.
He's not even just saying
No,
that.
this is real. I would make a face like, hey, what the hell? This is great.
Well, that's the Gimlet. Let's go ahead and get in front of here and get a stool and continue the conversation.
All right, let's do it.
Let's
and
go.
bring these.
Oh yeah. All right, man. So we just made the drink. We're coming over. Now we're going to continue this chat. You were talking about 39 years. 29 years.
29 years on the
39
radio.
years. I already added a decade to it.
7 in Tucson, 22 in Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Tucson, is that when you were going to school?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in LA on the west side, like near the 405 freeway and Sunset Boulevard. Went to college there and then never thought I would be on the radio. I met somebody that worked in radio, started in radio there, and all I wanted to do was be on here in LA where I live.
That's awesome.
And I got lucky. So seriously, I did.
What do you mean? How did you get lucky, I guess?
Somebody heard me on in Tucson, a guy named Del Williams, and said, wow, you sound like you could be on KROQ. You have that sound. And Del worked in the business, but he let Kevin Weatherly know, who ran KROQ for years and years and years. And Kevin is awesome. And I got a call from Kevin. He's like, send me a demo tape tomorrow. So I recorded my show in Tucson. I was doing mornings at the time by myself. No phone screener, no producer, no sidekick, no weather person, it was just all me.
Okay.
And I don't think I was good at all, but I sent him the tape and he's like, come out here on Friday. Flew out to LA on a Friday from Tucson, met with Kevin at noon, and at 6 p.m. that day I was on KROQ. 6 p.m.
After just meeting him?
Yes, that same day.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and I was there over 22 years, and I just feel there's just I just feel lucky to have any job for that long.
Dude, I mean, you're right to point out any job for that long, but let alone a job like that,
Yeah.
And for me, like, growing up here, hearing your voice on KROQ, I mean, that was a staple. Like, I mean, let's just get right into it. You were the first one to play us on KROQ.
That's so crazy to hear. And again, that was luck in my opinion. I knew who you guys were, but a friend of mine named Matt Money Smith who saw you guys at a Warped Tour performance. Mm-hmm. And Matt Money Smith is the broadcaster of the LA Chargers. He is a play-by-play guy.
Okay.
And he's like, you gotta play them. Played, and then next thing you know, you guys were in full rotation like crazy.
I want to thank this Matt guy, but like you just said, he's a Chargers guy, and I'm a Raiders fan. So, but that's amazing though, because I wanted to share with you where I was. I mean, we've hung out a lot of times and stuff, but I don't think we've ever really had this kind of a conversation.
No, we haven't.
And I wanted to share with you that moment I was in. Me and my wife, well then girlfriend, were in her Dodge Neon driving from the bank, and we were just listening to KROQ like any other afternoon, and here comes on Backcountry. And I was like, wow. Both looked at each other. I was like, did that just switch over to the CD? Because like I don't And then I was like, no, that's still KROQ. And then after the song ends, you come on and start talking about it. And I was like, okay. And immediately we pull the car over. I called Jimmy first, and then called the rest of the boys in sequence after that. And we're all just like, that was like a huge moment in our career.
Wow, and that was the first time that KROQ and I had played it, was that moment? Because I remember
the first time I heard
there
it.
was a big back sell that I gave after it played, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I
You're
remember
comparing
that.
us to, not necessarily comparing us musically, but like just, no, you were saying like you were excited to have a band that you actually liked because it was like hearing Rage for the first time, something that was different, and you got to play it on the radio, like a System of a Down or a Rage.
Right. Yes.
And I was like, oh fuck, that's some pretty high kudos. I think I was all of 20 years old at the time.
You were 20 years old?
I think so.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
And
if my math is correct.
That makes me feel so good that you were listening, but you telling me that story takes me back to what it looked like in the studio that day. And I remember in my head, as the song was playing, like, I got to do a great back sell here. How do I feel this second? And I remember your band in that song like rattled me around. There's something exciting happening, which is why I said what I did after I played it.
That's amazing. What was happening in the, because I've been to the studio around that time. Shortly after that, within months after that is when we probably came out and did our first Love Line with you and Dr. Drew.
Oh yeah. Wow.
We ended up doing a few of those with you guys.
Yes.
But yeah, so can you paint the picture of like what was going on at that moment for you?
Yeah, I remember a phone screener. I remember my phone screener, Brian, was there. And if I recall, it was like a really nice day that day.
It was.
Yes.
It was a sunny, beautiful day.
Yes. And I know people are like, well, of course, LA. No, I remember exactly what it was like. And that kind of added fuel to my presentation, which I think like for radio hosts, it's not just pressing play, it's the presentation of how the song makes you feel and do it in like 30 seconds. But yeah, I vividly remember that.
That's awesome that you vividly. I would have guessed that, like, obviously for me, I remember vividly what was happening at that moment. For you, I was like, I mean, that's kind of cool that you remember it that way too, because, I mean, we already were talking a little bit about Tuna on Toast, and before you came up, Matt Shadows was on the show.
Yes.
I listened to that episode. Had to hear what the old boy was going to say. You know.
Uh-oh. How'd you like the Tuna on Toast with Matt M. Shadows?
I loved it. I think you guys did great. Obviously,
Okay,
it was fantastic. You always do a great job, Matt.
Thank
not
you.
so much. But, you know, no, it was really good, really informative. It was fun to hear Matt in that setting, honestly, with a friend like you who's known for so long and can just be himself, because a lot of times you got to be on guard. You know how it is, and
Right.
that was definitely, like, you could tell, like, that guard was definitely dropped, and then you guys were talking about the Death Bat Club, which
Yes.
and this was a couple months ago now.
Right. It was
Lots happened with it since.
before. It was like the day of the announcement, or sometime around when you guys announced Death Bats
You
Club.
still have your token?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I think I know how to go and look at it and all that. I'm never getting rid of that. Are you kidding me?
Dude, that's awesome. Did you end up with any of the utilities as they started to come out?
I'm not sure. But
That's
mine
the
is
best.
purple. Sorry. I'm sorry. Just-
No, it's great. Just go back and one day you'll see it and you'll be like, fuck, I missed out on a lot of VIP shit.
Well, to me, this is like what's happening right here. This is like the super duper VIP. Wait, did you think? I mean, I thought you guys were so successful without the radio play of Backcountry, and you guys would have been totally fine. Did all those spins really take you to a different level and attract some people that didn't know of you?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, yes, for sure. I mean, that just Backcountry in general took off. I mean, not to repeat, I mean, whoever didn't already listen to Matt on Tuna on Toast, but like everything that he said was absolutely right. We dropped City of Evil and nothing was happening for a while. And then all of a sudden KROQ started playing us. And then after that, especially at the time, I mean, what was this, 2005-ish?
Yeah.
Radio had like this way, especially KROQ. If the programmers at KROQ were playing it, as you know, the rest of the rock radio started playing it around the country.
Right.
So as soon as you guys picked it up, and then I was just talking to my wife about it. I remember when we were on Warped Tour doing the Ventura show, and we just got our first time we went #1 at the 9 on 5.
Oh, the Furious 5 at 9.
Furious 5 at
yes.
9, yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was called. I couldn't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But I remember we were tracking that every day and seeing like
So
fans would
cool,
call in,
man.
and then like we have a picture. I'm gonna try and find it and put in B-roll here of us celebrating out in the parking lot at the Ventura the first time we went #1 on the Furious 5 at 9.
Wow. Congratulations to you. No, not 0% of me, but congratulations to you doing what you've been doing for so long at such a high level. It is hard to get people to give a damn about anything.
Well, you said luck, and that's why I wanted to ask you to describe your lucky scenario a little bit, because I know for a fact I got lucky as fuck. Like, I am not that good at what I do.
That's not true, though. That's not true. You're humble, and that makes you so charming, and why you're an A+ superstar, man.
Thanks, buddy. We'll give each other affirmations afterwards.
Okay, that sounds good. Oh, I need a sip of this unbelievable Gimlet.
Dude, this is good.
Yeah.
That's what I am good at. I can drink.
And make them really well.
Yes, thank you.
So good.
So yeah, back to those times, like you were asking. So we had our level of success, absolutely. Like we were able, and we were completely comfortable with that. That was what was great about you playing it too, is because we knew. We'd even told the guys at the labels and everything like that. We're like, it's great if you want to go pitch it, but don't pitch it too hard. Because like if they don't come around, they'll come around when the time's right.
Right.
And that was the timing, and you were kind of the spearhead of that. And from that point on, it did. I mean, I think it helped us jump a bit. You know, being on TRL with the Madden brothers and Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
That video, winning a music award for Best New Artist. That entire time, it's so funny because in the last 3 years I've been home from the road, there's been a lot of introspection going on, right? And I'm like, oh shit, we did do that. Like this stuff I don't think about very often until I'm with someone like you, and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, we go all the way back from like when fucking before backcountry and everything.
Right, it's a very, very, very long time. And I rarely do what you just said is like, take a step back and like, oh my gosh, how am I the person that did this back 20 years ago or 10 years ago?
Who was the first person that you had on your radio show to that point? Like when you were like, all right, you were doing it just by yourself, just kind of DJing it over in Tucson. You come over to LA. Who's the first one that's on that like?
I believe it was Perry Farrell.
That's a pretty good one to start.
It wasn't like some band who just got signed to Hollywood Records who had one show at the Roxy. So Perry Farrell, and the guy he was so nice. But I knew how important of an artist he is now and was then, because I think Jane's Addiction, when it comes for like the rock or alternative format, whatever you want to call it, Jane's Addiction is like top 3 most important bands. And that guy obviously is talented, but he's also smart. And if you don't know your stuff, I mean, he's still so nice, you're gonna be okay. But yeah, Perry Farrell. But then, I'm coming from Tucson. Our radio station was on a dirt road. Nobody came through Tucson. And all of a sudden, I'm in LA, and like all these artists are coming through, and it was insane. Yeah. It was fun. And I just attempted to be who I am the whole time.
Do you remember what how did you prep? Like, okay, you know it's gonna be Perry. It's the first time. What are you telling yourself in your head to get yourself ready? And then do you remember how it went? Can you give me any details on that?
Oh man, I don't remember the conversation, and I don't have the tape. And this is pre-social media. Like so many cool things like that happened, and I don't even have the audio evidence and don't really have the picture evidence of all this stuff.
Oh man.
But I remember I was wearing a terrible, terrible orange t-shirt that had like these cereal boxes on it. And the shirt, at the time I was probably like 160 pounds. I was skinny as a Greyhound dog, a terrible hat on. And I'm like, oh God, I do remember. Just awful, man.
I want to picture this shirt though, because I've had orange shirts before. I'm trying to remember I've had the cereal box one.
Well, Johnny, I just thought of something that happened early on. Rage Against the Machine was releasing their Battle of Los Angeles album. And so I was told, you're going to go interview Tom Morello at a club on Wilshire Boulevard, which I'm drawing a blank, a small club.
Okay.
Take this equipment, go interview him. I interview him, and I'm like, while it's happening, I couldn't believe how great I was doing. This is so good. Tom Morello, Battle of Los Angeles, Rage Against the Machine. I forgot to hit record.
I knew that was coming.
I forgot to freaking hit record, Johnny.
Oh man. Oh no. You're looking at me. I'm on the other side now. I've been on the other side for a couple of years now. Oh yeah, I've absolutely.
No,
I look over all the time and make sure everything's still bad.
Oh, you got the Roadcaster too.
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah. Well, you said what was the equipment that they handed you and made you go out for?
It was called a DAT recorder.
I know the DAT. Yeah, we used to use a DAT recorder for pre-Pro Tools. We used a DAT recorder for a lot of our backing tracks when we had the 808 spots and stuff like that.
Wow. But listen what Tom Morello did. So I have to call my boss and say, I didn't get it. So I don't know if they called Tom directly. They called someone like, we didn't hit record. So Tom had driven back home to Laurel Canyon before the start of the show, and he's like, tell Ted Stryker to come over to my house. So I went with 2 engineers who made sure it was recording, and then never gave me equipment again. Never did. I'm like, why were you telling me to record this interview? So we went to his house, and it was pretty good, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was all right. Down the hatch.
That's awesome. You just had him. You had him on Tuna on Toast.
Yeah, he was on Tuna. He was the first guest.
So obviously it was pretty good. I mean, 20 years later, you guys are still hanging out.
Yeah, yeah. He's a great guy. Obviously, so smart. Uber talented. It's crazy to look back at. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, like in person.
Oh man,
we've talked a little bit. Like we were supposed to do that tour in 2018 with the Prophets of Rage.
Right.
And that kind of fell through, obviously. And then so I was looking forward to hanging out with all the guys.
I know.
And, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Well, find another way. But yeah, pretty crazy though. Like what are some of the other some of those moments in your life when you do step back and are being a little bit introspective, and you're like, oh, these are the moments that I will never forget. They've made me who I am, XYZ. Like at the end of the day, on my deathbed, those are going to be the moments where I go, I did do something.
Wow. Well, I think the effort that I've put into the job over the years and how much I care, like so much so that at times, and I don't know if work is ever supposed to be fun, maybe when you're done working it's fun, but I care so much and put in this effort that no one has really seen behind the scenes to make sure that I'm super relaxed and I'm not tense and like, oh my God, who's this guy? So I think I'm probably like, look back at that like, wow, I didn't put effort into school, but man, in this career and job, I was busting my ass and I cared so much about the craft. As dumb as being a radio host is, I know it's like at the bottom of the ladder and being on TV is like down there, but...
I disagree. I absolutely disagree with that. I'm sorry to interrupt there, but no, it's like, to me, I think you guys talked about it with another good friend, Fat Mike. A label still has its place, a radio host and everyone has its place because you guys are kind of curating a lot of what people listen to. Like, no one's hearing Backcountry on that day if Ted Stryker doesn't play it. So I think that's you're understating what you guys do.
Thank you for saying that. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
And a testament to the hard work that you put into your story of Tom Morello, to the story of us still being friends after this long. It's not like, I mean, we're not friends with every fucking guy who played our spinned our albums, you know?
Man, thanks.
So it's really cool, man.
Thank you. Cheers to you on that.
Glad
Me
you're here.
too. I mean, I remember bands who are huge, who can play arenas, just hearing their demo CDs and somehow knowing like, God, these guys are going to be good. Like the Killers. I remember hearing the Killers and no one knew who they were. And I'm like, wow, this is really good. Can't wait to play this on the radio. And then like a few months, some people started to know who they are, a couple years, and then all of a sudden they become one of the biggest bands.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild how that happens, you know? Like, what were some of the other ones? You mentioned the Killers. What were some of the ones that, or better yet, was there a band that you were like so stoked on to play and you gave them their spins and it just didn't pan out?
Ooh. I can't think of like bands offhand, but I think there are a lot of bands who had some radio play, and I don't know the exact reasons, but they would have a lot of fans and have a top 10 song, but for, I don't know the reason, after 4 or 5 years, it just kind of fizzled out for them. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's a combination of either bad luck, bad management, band doesn't get along, they lose focus, they don't give effort, maybe there's like some sort of addiction involved. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I saw that.
Or
That's what I've seen the
molding
most.
of all of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just meant like, I was just curious, and I don't mean to you throw some band under the bus or anything like that. But yeah, I was just curious because, I mean, there's times when, I mean, me as an artist are bringing out other bands on the road, and I'm like, man, these guys are going to be fucking huge. This is awesome. And then for whatever reason, as you said, just doesn't pan out. Like next thing I know, they're not touring anymore.
No.
And I was like, man, it was like one of my favorite bands. Bands like Seosin. I'll throw out somebody underneath the bus. Seosin was awesome.
Oh, yeah,
love
definitely.
those guys.
Yeah.
They're great dudes. They continue to do a bunch of other bands afterward, but it was never really the same since we toured with Seosin. And like, I thought that they were going to be massive, and it just never panned out.
Right. I don't know why that stuff happens, but are some bands, the opposite of what you asked, that I heard for the first time, and then they just went crazy. I played Linkin Park for the first time on the radio, and I was like, wow, this is pretty exciting.
What song was that?
Shut up when I'm talking to you. Shut
yeah.
up. One step closer.
Yeah,
one step closer.
Yeah.
System of a Down as well. Sugar was the song.
Sugar was the song, okay.
And then, okay, you know who Jack Johnson is?
Yeah.
So I remember bringing Jack Johnson's music to the radio station, and I played it for someone there, and this person said, this is like James Taylor. This is never going to be on alternative rock radio. I'm like, listen to the words he's saying, how he's playing, see what he looks like, who his fans are. And then within 6 months, like, he was like headlining festivals all over the place.
And becoming friends with Kelly Slater?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the fucking coolest. I mean, that's what I'm jealous about. Fuck the arenas and all that shit. I want to be friends with Kelly Slater. Do you surf?
I have surfed.
In Southern California?
I'm a terrible surfer. I like the ocean. I got on a surfboard the last time like 6 years ago in Australia. I was there for work, and I got up a little bit. I'm not good at all, but I can get up.
That's amazing. Hey, that's half the battle, right?
Can you surf?
I can. It's been a while for me too. As soon as I had like my 5-year-old son, like, and then I picked up golf, and it's like you can do like a surf and turf some days. I love doing that, but that's like really asking. I get in a little bit of trouble with the wife when I do a whole day like that.
Right. Yeah. How's your golf game?
Terrible, but it's
It
so
is?
much fun. Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm like a 24 handicap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not great.
No, it's not. I've not been playing as long as Matt. I just picked it up like 3 years ago.
Oh, 24 is good then.
Yeah, I'm having fun. I'm out there pretty often with Matt and Brian mostly.
Yeah.
And like we're members over here at the Huntington Club.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty. We got to go out.
I would love to.
What's your handicap?
About 11?
Okay, so you're good.
I'm all right.
You're gonna give me some strokes.
Yeah, of course. I'll give you all the strokes you want. Not because I think I'm going to win, but it's just
That's how you play golf.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you play golf.
Right.
That's why I even have a handicap. I wouldn't be keeping score at this point if I didn't want a handicap.
You got to take Fat Mike out golfing.
I've golfed with him.
You have? You golfed with Fat?
Yeah. Fat Mike is awesome.
He is?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, he's a good golfer. I mean, I think he was just on your Tuna on Toast.
Yeah,
right,
Fat Mike
podcast,
was on.
and
Yeah.
I think he was drinking Tito's.
He was. He brought his own Tito's to my house. And I didn't know. I mean, I don't know if he drinks or not drinks, so I didn't offer him drinks, but he starts pulling them out like in these holsters, all like the airplane sized Tito's.
I don't know if he's back to drinking. So that's why I asked, because I was going to ask, was he drinking that? I mean, how long have you known Mike, by the way?
Not long.
Not long? Okay.
Not long at all.
Okay. I've known Mike for a bit and then became a little closer over the last couple of years with him.
Right. Yeah, because you covered a song, didn't you?
We did a cover of Linoleum. This goes back to your title, Tuna on Toast, when we did some secret show at the Slide Bar in Fullerton.
Oh, okay.
And that was our first time doing it. We were like doing this Slide Bar thing, and we were like, well, should we do like a cover of a NOFX, like Linoleum or something? We're like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, fuck yeah, I already know that song. Like, let's go. And we did that, and then we've done it a couple other like small things. We never like do it like on our set or anything like that. But like, so I think Mike got wind of it. You know, him and Matt have been friends for a lot. I've been closer for a lot longer, and he just reached out and was like, I'm getting all these bands together that have covered Linoleum because I'm putting it to bed. I'm done with that song. And it was so funny. And then he asked if Zachy and Brian would want to play those dueling solos over Linoleum. And we're like, are we about to get ribbed real hard by Mike? 'Cause
Right.
That's his style, you know?
Yes, yes.
We're like, all right,
He does not give a damn.
Well, he doesn't give a damn about. He does. He does care. That's the thing. So he was on my show too, and I said the same thing. I was like, you seem to like not even give a fuck. He's like, no, I actually care a lot about what I say. I just don't have what is it? He's not shy at all about his thoughts. He just lets them all out.
He doesn't have a filter. Whatever's on his mind, he speaks it.
Yeah.
But I mean, to that guy's credit, he can produce a song, he can create a great melody, and he can spot talent.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
You're a big NOFX fan then?
I'm a NOFX fan, but it was more, as Mike and I on the podcast talked about, like they didn't really want the radio play. He's like, we just want to work just at our own schedule. If we get on the radio, then we have to go to a radio show and all this stuff.
I would have never guessed that by the song. I can't play this song on the radio.
Right. But I remember the song called Franco Un-American was getting some radio play. And then I'm like, I'm not playing that on the air. And I got in trouble for not playing it on KROQ.
Wow.
Because I'm like, they don't want to be on. I'm not going to press play on this. And it was like, but it was a fun little take to have.
That's awesome.
On the air.
That's
yeah.
rad.
But I like NOFX a lot, but I have like over the years, I didn't do like the crazy deep dive just because there were so many other artists that I was doing the deep dives on that were part of my everyday life.
Right. Yeah, I asked that question because we're talking about Fat Mike golfing. It was a rainy day one of the last times we golfed. He was sober, but he needed to like dry off his socks or some shit. So he comes over to the house and we have lunch up here, and he looks over. He's like, "I'm coming back here when I'm drinking again." And I was like, "All right, well, I don't know what to tell you. I know you're not drinking right now, so I'm not going to push it. But when you're ready, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Mike, come back on." And then he grabs my son. He grabs a guitar because he's like, "Oh, let me show you some of the stuff we've been working on. I know he released the single on your podcast.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yes,
That's cool.
I can't believe
Only
that.
Mike would do that shit. You know, it's so cool.
He brings his laptop. He's like, I'm going to world premiere a NOFX song.
Yeah.
Called Fuck Day 6. That's the name of the song. About your 6th day in rehab is the worst day. And that's what the song is about. Meanwhile, he brought the mini Tito's over.
God, I love Mike. He's over at the house, and then he's like talking about the new songs. He's like, yeah, I got like 33 new songs already for a new record. I was like, he's like, yeah, no, I don't even know if I'm going to release those ones because I got like another like 15 on top that I like better. He's like, let me show you some chords. He goes in the studio back over here, and he grabs one of my guitars that is a Sinister Gates guitar with the Floyd Rose and everything, and it's in drop D. And he starts going, he's like, why can't I play this? I was like, oh, it's in drop D. He's like, can you change your tuning? I'm all, not very easily. It's a Floyd Rose. So like, I had to take the nuts off, and I did it. And then he's like, what about that guitar? It's my son's guitar.
Okay.
It's this little like child's guitar. So I hand it to him. He starts tuning it up and playing these new NOFX chords, but he's also like trying to remember the parts. He's like, wait, how did I do this chord? The way that guy works is fucking different. Like he's just a true artist. Like,
yes.
Musically and everything. Like he's not trained at all. That's how he comes up with this shit. He just comes around and like just finds these crazy chords and does weird melodies over them.
Right. Yes.
And I've said it before, and I've said it to his face. I really do think that NOFX is the Beatles of punk rock.
Wow.
Because they just that songwriting element that they bring to punk rock, I think is second to none.
The songwriting they bring to punk rock is second to none. Wow, that's so cool to hear you say that.
Well, I'm a huge fan, obviously.
And do you like how they have carried themselves over their career? Because I do.
Oh,
a million, 1,000%.
Absolutely.
They like have stuck to their plan, and no bag of money over there or this there has taken them off it.
No, they've never. It was so. The first time I met Mike was he was actually playing in Me First and the Gimme Gimmes at a San Diego New Year's Eve show or something like that. And this tell the story. I walked up and he was like, "Oh, you got cocaine?" And I was like, "Yeah." Let me go get it. And I went into the bathroom to grab it, and I came back out and he was gone. And I was like, he's like, "Oh, go to my hotel room." And I went to his hotel room, knocked on the door later, didn't answer. I was like, "What the fuck?" So we just partied.
Oh my God.
No, I mean, that brings me to that point though, like, outside of when you were playing us on KROQ and everything like that, we live close enough. We've been to like house parties together and shit.
That was down in this area though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of the last ones I remember was one of a friend of a friend's house. And we were all, I don't remember why we were there.
Was that one there was like water but not the ocean nearby? There was
the harbor. It was in the harbor.
Okay, a harbor.
It was down the street from the twins' house.
That is
now I
a
remember
long, that is 15 years ago, right?
Easily, yeah. Whatever it was, yeah.
God.
And I remember we were all hanging out in the kitchen mostly.
Oh man, that's
Mostly.
right. Yes.
Bathroom a couple
That
times.
was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Oh my God.
What do you remember about that night then?
I just remember how excited I was to get out of my bubble in the Los Angeles area and come down to this area, because I don't know this area that well at all. No. And
gotta come down
it was
here more
fun.
often.
I know. It's so, when I was driving around, I'm like, God, this feels like I'm on a vacation just driving around here. It's nice.
Dude, I love Orange County. I love Huntington. Born and raised, never gonna leave. It's traveled a lot, and there's no reason for me to live anywhere else at this point in my life. So.
Have you been in this house a long time?
I bought the property in 2008, and then in 2014 tore it down and rebuilt the house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's when I built this area.
Yeah, this is good.
That was the idea. I was like, I gotta have a fucking bar in my house. There's one thing I'm gonna do in my life. I'm gonna have a fucking bar in my house. And now I had to learn how to drink.
And you did it.
Yeah, did the damn thing. One of the other things I wanted to ask about is you were on the Ellen DeGeneres show for a while.
Yes, I was.
And there's been some recent things coming out about the work environment that was going on.
Right.
Did you see any of this? Is this anything that you experienced?
So I was on maybe 130 episodes of that show.
You were the first like host or whatever that show.
I don't think the DJ. So I don't know if I was the first. Maybe I was the second or third. I'm not even sure, but. So I would play the music, plus I did a lot of man on the street stuff.
Yes, yes.
And we would converse on the show, like similar to almost a radio show. She would bounce stuff off me. They weren't much. She would be like, Stryker, oh, hey. And I'd be like, oh yeah. And then we'd go back and forth. There were times where it was tense around there. But my experience, not anyone else's, my experience was you have to be prepared for an hour of content every single day. There's so much money invested in this show and your name is on the marquee. Of course, you're gonna want things done fast. And I mean, even just doing a dumb radio show, how prepared you have to be and like kind of the pressure before you're going on, and these two guests are coming here and you gotta make sure that they have this and this person has that. Yeah, there is some tension around there, but like my personal overall experience, I would say was good. Like I thought I was going to work there a little bit longer, but I didn't. So
what was were you let go? Did you leave? What was the story there?
It's a good question. They signed me to come back for a second year. Okay. I'm like, wow, I'm going to be on TV, like 130 more episodes or so. And then a week before filming, I get a call from the executive producers. Hey, come on by. We want to have a chat before the start of the season. So I go over to their offices and they're like, there's some things that have changed and we're not going to use you this year. No, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm like, really? And they said, yeah. And that was it. I was done. Okay. But those executive producers could not have been nicer and smarter, and like their creativity was so high. Did you ever like have lunch or like drinks with Ellen though, like outside, or was it strictly business? Great question again. In my mind, after the first 3 weeks on the TV show, like we had traveled to New York to film, we were in LA. She was like, great job. And I'm like, wow, I'm gonna go to Ellen's house and have drinks and we're gonna go to dinner together and be in stretch limos and maybe have sleepovers in pajamas and bunk beds. Yeah. Not once did I ever socialize with her or see her outside the office. And after the last episode of the season I was on, you know, the episode ends and then they're on hiatus for 5 or 6 weeks. Yeah. No word, no talk, no nothing. So I don't know if she thinks I'm a 10 out of 10 or a 0 out of 10. I have no idea. Well, if you're watching, Ellen, comment below. But it's hard to do a TV show every single day and a monologue every day, and then you have this celebrity on and this human interest person on, and just to be on all the time.
Well, how do you do it? Because you are on all the time. You just described your day.
Yeah, I
before
guess I
leading up
did.
to that.
Yeah, I guess that's exactly what I did. Yeah, today I'm on with you, like Chris Carrabba. I did a radio show today.
I'm like, you were on all day and into the night. Like, I mean,
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, how this is an art to me. That's another reason why you're like, I don't know if I'm very good. You're very humble about it, and that's great. But it is an art. Like, I'm learning it on this side of it. I've been on the other side of it for so many years.
Right.
I'm enjoying being on the other side these days. Because honestly, there's a way to do it right, and there's a way to do it wrong, I think.
Yes.
You're one of the ones that do it right.
Thank you so much for saying that.
I want to pick your brain on that. Obviously, at least for me, it hasn't come like all of a sudden, you're like, boom, I know how to talk to someone and run a conversation. I'm a middle tabler, going back to that.
Curb your enthusiasm. Curb your enthusiasm.
I'm a middle tabler.
I respect wood, but they said no coasters on here.
Oh, well, actually, as a matter of fact,
no.
since you said something about it, there you go. Little drinks with Johnny coaster.
God, you have merch. I got a bag. I have no Tuna on Toast merch. This is awesome.
That actually has a QR scan.
Yeah, this
Look
is
at
amazing.
that. That's 2020 for you.
Wow. Yes. 2020.
I don't know. Yeah, everything's scanned now.
Yeah.
Anyways, but so for me, like to that point, it's been an evolution. I feel like I'm getting, just like with music, just like with anything, constantly evolving, trying to get better and better at it.
Yes.
Never satisfied. I feel like that's kind of where you're at still.
Yes.
After the 29 years that we're talking about. Can you explain to me what your process is though? And
Sure.
What are the things that like you look back on and go like, I wish I would have done that differently, and how you've been able to learn from certain things and know when you've killed it?
Okay. I tried to, early on, I think I talked too much in the interview. When the interview, people aren't watching because of me. The goal is, if my guest is incredible, guess who is also great? Me.
Yeah.
If I can set them up with the little amount of words as possible and let them go, and I can come back with something really intelligent or funny or knowledge, that's the way to do it. Also, it's the energy of the host. I remember having Coldplay on in like 2001, and it may have been one of their first times in America, and I was like, oh my God, Coldplay's here! And they're like, hello, Stryker, talking like this. And I was up here, they were down here. That's a mistake. Yeah. It's not that all of a sudden I have to be like at a 2 out of 10, because you can talk at a 2 out of 10, but still have energy. But I was like a 10 out of 10, and they were here, and that was not good. And also, you have to listen to what whoever you're speaking to is saying, so you can either have something to say based on what they're saying or be ready to move on to something else. It's like your brain has to be working over here and over there. And just like you with your band or anybody in any job, you have to be so prepared that it looks like you're not prepared.
Oh, I thought it's supposed to look like you're not prepared.
So it's like, well, how does a person know these things? Like, how, like, this is just going.
Yeah, no, that's part of the art. And like you said, like the you're on a 10, Coldplay maybe at a 2 that day. It doesn't mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, it doesn't necessarily mean that like there wasn't like this connection or anything like that. It was like, it could have been better if you came down a little bit, maybe they would have came back up. And
right.
The vibe would have equaled
yes,
out
it was all about me. I should have come down a little bit. But just to reiterate, if someone is kind of just talking like this, it doesn't mean it's not good.
Right.
It's still can be really good. But if then the other person is like on planet Mars doing something, that is going to make it just a total train wreck.
Right, because it's all about getting the right connection, right?
Yes, right.
Or however that may be. And
exactly.
If you're at a party and you walk by the cocaine room and you're not ready for that, I don't know why I'm talking about cocaine so much on this episode.
Jesus Christ.
I don't even do it anymore that much.
So,
nice sipping time there. Oh, man. I gotta ask you too, like one of the things, I was looking at your IMDb, man. Like I don't look at IMDb very often.
yeah?
I don't know how I missed this. You were in Out Cold?
Yes, the movie Out Cold.
I love that movie.
You do?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know my scene? I've got
I
real
don't-
lines in the movie.
Yeah, I don't. So I haven't seen it in a long time. I'll be completely honest. I just saw it and I was like, and I was trying to jog my memory. I was like,
I don't
where
look
the
like
fuck
I was probably a little heavier. I had blonder hair. Do you remember
I'm
the
gonna watch it
scene? Do
again.
you remember when they throw the party? They throw that house party,
Yeah.
and everyone is like dancing and getting. I'm outside, and I'm trying to get in to pay my way in. They finally let me in, and I drink bong water inside the party. And
You're
I'm
the
like,
bong water guy.
Me gusta!
I knew that guy. Fuck yes.
I improv that line, by the way, off script, and they kept it in.
Was it real bong water?
No, it was disgusting though. It was a mix of water, Diet Coke, and some sort of smoke in there. And I probably had to do it 10 different times. And it
Why
was
did they
just-
have to make it that? That's intriguing to me because I'm like, why did they have to make it taste bad too? Like they just need it to look like bong water. Does it have to taste bad?
It's a great point. And why didn't I say, can't you make this better? But I didn't. I was just like, I'll just drink it. I'll just do it. Yeah.
What was it like? Was that the first movie you were on? How many movies have you done? I know you did you were Sweetest Things,
The
right?
Sweetest Thing with Cameron Diaz.
Yeah.
Yep, I had a real scene in that. I went and I had an audition for a role in that movie, and I left. I'm like, whatever. But they called and like, oh, he did okay, but we have another role for him based on this audition. And so I did that. And I was in a movie called Grandma's Boy.
Yes, Grandma's Boy. Fucking love that
Do you know which
movie.
part? I mean, again, I'm not like the star co-star, but it's a funny scene.
I'm trying to think because I know that movie pretty well too.
When I tell you-
if you're at Tommy's Burger.
No, but it is a restaurant scene. I am the host of the vegan restaurant. I've picked out the very best table for you.
That is you.
Check out the vitamin water list. Enjoy the harmony. And then David Spade comes out.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck yes, dude. That's such a great role. Damn, dude. How was it working on that set? 'Cause those guys
Unbelievable.
they just look like they have so much fun.
It was so fun. I cannot even tell you how great that was.
Dude.
It was amazing. And it was produced by Adam Sandler's company. Adam's not in it. But the day that I was doing my scene, Adam was on set. And I'm like, holy crap, Adam Sandler's here watching this. This is, I was like having a nervous stomachache before
Yeah.
going to do it.
Tell me a little bit more about it. Like, what was?
Oh, man.
Like, did you get to interact with Adam?
No,
But
no.
Spade, obviously, is
David
in the scene.
Spade, interacted with David Spade. And also, like, Jonah Hill is in my scene.
Yep.
Alan Covert.
And that was Jonah Hill before he's
Yes.
Jonah Hill now.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Nick Swartzen, the comedian.
Love Nick Swartzen.
Right. Linda Cardellini, who's become a really big star.
Yeah. I love her on the roast. She's on a couple of the roasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was on Mad Men as well. I mean, she's done a zillion things.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember it was shot, my scene, I was somewhere in Hollywood. And if someone says you're going to go host something, I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be good. But when they're giving you like these lines to read, it's tough. Acting is hard, and I'm not good at it. So, you know, these were very small scenes, but man, was that fun.
How did you get into acting then? Like, was it because of the radio stuff?
Basically, because of the radio.
Did you
I would
ever
have
think you'd
agents.
be acting?
No.
Like when you were a kid, were you ever in plays and stuff?
No, but
Okay.
I love TV. I love sitcoms. I
Dude,
like movies.
This is why we get along, man. I'm telling you right now, I'm a huge movie and sitcom buff. I go to sleep to either Seinfeld or Friends like every fucking night.
Okay. Why don't we just move in together and we'll go night to Seinfeld every night. Johnny, I know
love
we've
it.
seen this one 75 times, but do you want to watch
still
The Maestro right now?
Yeah.
We'll go to sleep to that.
Dude, I play tennis with this guy, his name's Drake, and every time I'm like, I love the Drake.
Right. Bob Cobb. Call me Maestro.
We did back to the self-title, Jimmy was, we did like this fucking video that was like before we came out for our encores. We filmed it over at Brian's house in the jacuzzi, and it was supposed to be like, oh, we're backstage and we're waiting for him to do an encore. We're fucking young and fucking thought we were funny as shit.
Right.
And the start of it was like someone comes in and we're all just laughing, having cigars and drinks, and Jimmy starts in with the fucking, and two of them turned brown. And that's how the scene starts. Like, we got to find that and show
Oh
it again.
my
It's
God.
so hilarious because he pulls the reference
God
from Kramer talking
damn.
about that, and it was so good.
God, that show was good. Man, Curb Your Enthusiasm, so good. Frasier to me is a top 4 sitcom of all time.
You know, I watched Frasier when it was on Must See TV.
Right?
Because it was a part of the lineup. There was Frasier, Friends, Seinfeld. There was always the other one that would interchange a few times.
Right. Yes.
And then ER would come on at night.
Right? That would be on a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I watched Frasier. I liked it. Maybe I was a little too young.
Revisit it. Start from episode 1. I don't know that there's a better opening episode to a sitcom where it pulls you in immediately. Seinfeld took almost 2 seasons to be like, oh, this is good.
Is that just because you're a radio?
No, not at all. Not at all. I swear. Not at all.
Yeah.
The characters are great. If you like Seinfeld, you
Frasier
love it.
remind you of Dr. Drew at all?
I think about that sometimes, but I'm going to say no.
Okay.
No.
Drew's always been pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been interesting to see Drew's life over the last few years, catching some crap for certain things that he says, but he's got a great heart and genuinely cares about people.
I didn't even know about that. What? I didn't know he was catching crap.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
We don't need to bring it up right now.
I'll just give you the one sentence.
Okay.
When COVID was happening early on, he's like, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. And then...
A lot of us said that, though. You can't get flack for that. I was in disbelief.
Yeah, I think most people were, but he was just adamant, and I think people like to give people a hard time more than ever these days. They go online and they just want to yell at you.
It's a fantastic time to be alive.
Oh my gosh. It is a good time to be alive, but man, it stinks how mean some people can be.
I agree. I absolutely agree. But I have fun with it, though, at this point. We get bad comments all the time. Back to your point on the realizing that you're talking too much on and letting the guest, like I'm not doing right now. That was my comments that I would see all the time. Like I had Eric from NOFX Smelly on. Every other comment was, dude, why does this guy keep talking over Eric? I'm like, I don't know. It's like 2 friends just like hanging out, man. I don't know how you talk to your friends.
Right. Yeah.
But it is an art, though. Back to that, like bringing it full circle. That art of finding the time and when to shut up.
Right. I know this is such an old reference, but maybe it's too old. But Johnny Carson,
I love
who
Johnny
hosted
Carson.
The Tonight Show,
Yeah.
he was like the master at zipping it and from using his facial expressions and letting the guest shine, and then he would just come back with the smartest, funniest lines. I loved how he hosted. Not that I watch it all the time because that's so many years ago, but YouTube and that sort of thing.
I need to revisit. That's another thing I need to revisit because I grew up a lot of time at my grandmother's house. And she always had it on, so I'd watch that a lot. Did you have any inspiration from any of the Tonight Show hosts? I mean, there's been obviously Jimmy Carson. We were just talking about,
also known as Johnny.
Did I say Jimmy? Also known as Johnny. Another great Johnny in the world. And Johnny Carson, then Jay Leno, obviously, and
Letterman is probably my. Because it's not that I was watching Carson when he was on, but just from the clips and watching. But Letterman, #1. But I think some of my most inspirational people were characters from movies.
Like who?
Here we go. Ferris Bueller and Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, shit.
They were these guys who were so funny and likable and who got away with stuff, but you still liked them and rooted for them. And I just I don't know, those 2 characters when I was a kid, I'm like, I want to be like Axel Foley and Ferris Bueller.
Yeah, you want to be loved.
Yeah, and also get away with a bunch of cool stuff, be somewhat successful.
Success is okay on that point. That's amazing. Back to the movie scenes, though, because I'm generally curious about this. I love movies as well.
Yeah.
Huge fan. I don't think I could ever act, because of what you talked about, like getting lines and stuff. How was that? Did you do any sort of training, though, when someone was like, hey, Stryker, you think it'd be really cool if you came on this movie set and played this role? How did that go?
I did do training.
Okay.
I did. I took, not before I got those parts, it was before. I would work on the radio, and then at night I took an 8-week acting class, and it was brutal. It was so hard. Every week you get in front of this class, and you have to do a scene in front of these people, and then the teacher just rips you on how bad you are and how you can get better. And then I took another class, a sitcom acting class, about 9 years ago. And when I say it was brutal, I mean awesome. Yeah. Because it just, you think you know something, you don't. And it made me better at radio, it made me better at interviewing, made me better at being on camera. And the sitcom acting was that class was so fun. Yeah. I can't even tell you. And I think I've only gone on like 10 acting auditions in my life, maybe 12. I wish I could do more.
If you've only gone on 10 or 12, and I've already named a few movies that you're in, how many of them did you not get?
I'll tell you a couple parts I didn't get.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I auditioned to be the lead role on Scrubs.
I love that
yes.
show.
What's the guy's name?
Watching it. Zach Braff.
Zach Braff.
Yeah.
I auditioned.
You auditioned for that
yes.
part?
I got an audition, and I'm sure I was terrible.
Or Zach Braff is just that good.
He's that good, of course. But I was terrible, man. Terrible.
I'm now going to watch that show differently. Thinking my good friend Ted Stryker as the main.
Yeah, there are some other movies. There's a movie not as big called Orange County with Colin Hanks.
Yeah, and Jack Black.
And Jack Black.
Yeah.
And I don't remember which, I think I auditioned for the Colin Hanks role. And that was in Venice Beach.
You were going against a Hanks, though. Like,
yes,
you can't
but he's
win.
great. Colin Hanks is awesome.
He is awesome.
I did terrible there. Obviously, didn't get that. Yeah, those are the two that come to mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you kind of get the bug, though, after doing this a couple of times? Like, everyone talks about the acting bug. Like, you're having fun with it. Obviously, went back to some more training after that, like you were saying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, are we going to be seeing you in anything soon?
Well, are you going to see me in anything soon?
Yeah.
No, not at all. You're going to see me on this podcast.
with Johnny.
And Drinks with Johnny and Tuna on Toast. Part of me, maybe like 64%, thought, listen, you're okay on the radio. You do red carpets, you host, you've done game shows, all this. Maybe acting is not your thing because this other stuff will suffer if you go as hard as you do in this other stuff. You may get worse at this stuff. But I do like it a lot. And it's hard. It's really hard. But I wish I could be on a sitcom.
Dude.
Is there a sitcom both of us can be on?
What do you mean? Let's just make it.
All right.
Why don't we just make our own
Sure.
sitcom?
Yeah. We got to figure out a script and
Because
a
it's that
plot.
easy.
Yes, it's that easy. All we have to do is like look at the camera like that after the scene.
I think we just nailed it. What was it? What's the look from The Office?
In Parks and Rec? Yeah, exactly.
How long can we make this segment last? Man, it's been so great to just fucking have some laughs with you.
Oh,
honestly.
man, yeah.
Like,
This is awesome.
This is fun. Like when you were gonna come on the show, we started texting each other. I was like, at first I was like, oh, okay, cool. We're gonna talk a lot about some Avenged stuff and blah blah blah. And I was like, nah, fuck that, man. We've got some history. We're gonna get into some shit.
Yeah.
And do you have that relationship with many other artists like you do with the Avenged? Like maybe you and Matt have stayed a little bit closer over the years.
Yeah.
You know? But do you have a lot of other artists that you're that close with?
I mean, I don't know if it's a lot. I think I lucked out because I was a similar age to so many of the bands that I was playing and discussing on the air that lived in Southern California. And so when they would come by the station, sometimes they would be like, oh my God, you're younger than we are. What the hell? And then I would see them at the same bar or a club or a restaurant. But yeah, like Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park.
Mike's a great dude.
Great dude. I mean, I don't want to just start there, but yeah, there's been some bands that, yeah definitely. And we text and talk and
that's awesome.
Have a real relationship.
And I think that's a testament to the kind of host that you are.
Thank you.
I really do. Like
Thanks.
There's only a handful that I get along with like that.
Oh,
and,
man.
that's really cool.
See, I feel bad now because I have nothing but such great memories hanging out with you, and all these years later, and now we're having the best time. I'm like, we could have been having this fun every couple months, every 5 months, once a year.
There was one time you didn't recognize me.
Oh, here we go.
At the Misfits concert at
at Bank of California.
I caught you that for a second.
Jesus.
You were looking at me like I did. Like
you were with
like,
Sean,
what? Yeah.
Sean, and Jen Clemens. Yeah.
I was like, it's like Stryker. You like looked at me. You're like, it had been a few years, and I had a beard.
Yes.
You remember me as little Johnny with all the shaving, the mohawk, the makeup, all of it. And I just walked in and I was like, Stryker. And you're like, hey man, what's up? Like you played it off really well. Don't get me wrong, but I've been on the other side of that a couple of times. I'm like, oh, he totally forgot who I was for a second there. But then you pulled it off. You pulled it off afterward. You're like, oh yeah, I was just hanging out with Matt, and I was like, okay, he put it together. He put it together.
I put it together. And I'm not a cool person. I think you know that. So it's never because I think I'm like, oh, who's this guy? It's not that at all.
No, I didn't. That thought didn't even cross my mind. I didn't think you were a big dick at me or anything. Okay. It was just a fun moment. And then I saw you at the bar for a brief second at Tall Cooperman's 40th.
Oh, yes.
But I didn't get a chance to say hi to you because you were just in and out.
I was. The reason why I was only there for a short time is I had the craziest work week coming up. I was doing 3 podcasts that week, and I'm like, oh my God, this party is so good. And it was like super high COVID times right then.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot get sick. So I went, said hi, was there for like 30 minutes, and then I bounced.
Yeah. I just remember saying, I was like, I'm going to make my way over there, but I also need a drink over here.
Yeah.
And then you were gone.
How fun is the Roxy and On the Rocks?
Oh, dude.
Is that?
It was a blast. I don't go to L. So you're talking about how you don't come down here enough. I don't go up to LA enough. Like I got friends up there. I don't like driving.
Yeah.
I kind of have my little bubble here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But I miss going to, like when you go into a club like that and like
so
Steel
much
Panther
history.
playing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yep.
Metal School.
Yeah, I remember.
I played golf with Sticks on the show. We
You
did an
did?
episode. I brought him to the golf course.
Sticks it in ya.
Oh shit! Too fast, too furious.
Is he good with the sticks? The golf clubs?
He's really fucking good. He was too good. I didn't know what I was getting into. Like originally, he's like, "Well, if I'm going to come down, we should play some golf too." And then I was like, "Why don't we just do the podcast on the golf course? That'd be a great idea." So we did. We only got through 9 holes in 4.5 hours. I was absolutely hammered. I couldn't hit the ball at all. It was a lot of fun though.
Did you have to clear that with the people at the golf course?
Fuck no. I mean, I probably should have. I just rocked it.
Yeah. Damn.
It was fun. This guy was a cameraman for a minute. We should do that next time. We
love
don't
to
need
do
the
that.
cameras though. We'll just go play.
No, let's just go play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I'll take you out.
I would love that.
Are you a member up in LA at any club?
No, man. I wish, but I don't. Even if I was, I don't think I have the time to take advantage of it.
No.
Because I'm doing 5 days a
Tuna on
week.
Toast on the golf course.
Right, Tuna on Toast on the golf course would be, God, a special edition of that. That would be so fun.
I'm there. Anytime
Okay,
you want to do
all
it.
right. I would love to have you on my podcast too. I don't know what we talk about since we had so. No, I know what we talk about. I got a lot of things planned.
Dude, I'm sure you'll come up with something.
Yeah, I'll have something for you. Thank you. Thank you.
I love how you bring everyone in though too on the show, on the YouTube part of it.
Yes.
Not the podcast part, but the YouTube part.
Yes.
You have them all being introduced into it and into your house and everything. It looks like you got a lovely house over there.
Thank you.
I just want to go check out the house, but and I know you played a little bit of putt golf with Matt when he was on there.
We gambled. We had a putting contest. He smoked me in that.
It's because he's so competitive, dude. The guy's, and he's good.
And he's good. He's
Pisses
good.
me off to admit, but he's really good. So.
He's also a very generous guy. Like he won the bet, but he paid me like I won.
Well, that's like the old Jordan thing. Like I won, and now I'm gonna stick it to you because it's like,
Yeah.
it hurts. But anyways, I digress. You also had when Mike came in with his big ass shoes.
Oh
his clown
yeah,
shoes.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's wild having somebody with that big a personality on because you need to figure out a way, how can I get real information without the guest going totally off the rails. I was exhausted after that. When he left, I'm like, oh my God, I was sweating profusely. My armpits stunk.
He's a brilliant dude.
Totally,
He's a brilliant motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, have you had anybody else on, even Tuna on Toast or anything else like that, where maybe you didn't know them that well and you were pleasantly surprised by their intelligence?
Oh my God. All musicians are underrated with their intelligence. And this is 100% the truth. Yes. Community. If there's a solo artist or a band that has been doing it for a while and has put out a few albums, they know what they're doing and are so intelligent, whether they left school at 7th grade or actually went to Harvard, like someone like Tom Morello or Rivers. The intelligence of the artist is super, super high and very underrated by the people, just by the public.
I don't know how that works. I just think that, to your point too, you found something you were saying earlier. You're like, I don't know if it's supposed to be fun until you're done with it or whatever, but you enjoy the work so much of it, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the part that, like, in any walk of life, whether it's hosting, playing in a band, being a musician, an artist, or just whatever fucking job, like maybe you're on Wall Street, but if you love that work that much that you're willing, every morning you're willing to try and get better at it, I think that's what kind of separates a lot of people.
I totally agree with you. It's why the bands such as yourself and other artists continue to do it, because they don't settle on something that happened 5 years ago, and they wake up going like, how can I be better? How can I learn more? How can we write better songs? How can we be better on the road? How can this be better? Yeah, that's exactly how I tick in my super duper small bubble.
It's not that small of a bubble.
No, it's a small bubble. It is. It's a small bubble. It is. I'm an old man just lucky to be here. Seriously, having the best gimlet ever.
Dude, well, I'll make you another one here in a second, but we should probably wrap this up.
Okay.
Well, fuck, man. It's been absolutely great having this chat with you.
Thank you.
Honestly,
Likewise.
I want to continue this.
Me too.
At a later date.
I would
Or
love
we'll just continue today. We're just going to turn those off and we'll continue.
Go hang out here.
But honestly, seriously, so much fucking fun.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here. Thanks for making the drive.
Of
Thanks
course.
for having a drink.
Yeah.
Thanks for always supporting the band that I'm in.
Oh man,
I really
of
appreciate
course.
you.
Thank you for everything you've done over the years with your band.
Oh, thank you.
You've inspired and made so many millions of people happy. And what date's the new record coming out?
That's probably gonna be.
sorry. Well, I gotta throw it in.
I mean, I don't even know. What's up?
Playing the new track. Right?
We'll play the new track after that.
Okay, you're gonna be like Fat Mike. You're gonna play the track. Here we go.
Honestly, I'd play something if there was anything worth playing. No.
You're a great host. You are
you.
really good. And
Thanks,
I said
man.
that to you before the cameras were even rolling. Like, you are a natural. You're a good man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, that means a lot coming from you. Seriously.
Thanks.
As we're talking and I'm listening, and as I'm asking you for pointers, basically, you're telling me the pointers, I'm like, oh, I am talking a little too much. I should fucking shut the fuck up.
I don't know about that. I don't think that at all.
You're a good man. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Everyone
Johnny.
check out Tuna on Toast. That comes out Tuesdays, right?
Yeah, every Tuesday. Yep. Tune on
That
Toast
makes
Tuesdays.
it easy. Just remember all the T's, right?
That's right.
All right, man. Thanks you.
Thank you again.
Thanks you? Can't even fucking talk. How
And
am I
shout out
gonna-
to Jimmy Carson.
Jimmy Carson, baby. Coming for your job. Thanks a lot, brother. Until next time. Cheers. That was fun.
Awesome. Thank you. I hope that was okay.